Hey guys, how y'all doing today? I just wanted to do this video today because I got a vision the other morning and it was pretty intense, and I've had it before, but more understanding came. Now, what happened, I was drinking coffee and meditating and in prayer and reading scripture, and I got a vision. I saw a great multitude of people, millions of people, and they were sitting and at rest. And it was like I was looking down on them. And all of a sudden, I saw them rise and stand up and lift their hands into the air. And I knew in my spirit that they were saying, and God was saying, enough is enough. Now, I knew in my spirit enough meant enough of what was going on in the physical realm as far as corruption and tyranny and the ways of darkness on this earth. And how would you say it? I got the sense that it was not only the people, but God moved, and the oneness that everything exists in Him, that the people stood up. They were sitting on their blessed assurance. Let's say that. Please don't take that wrong. I didn't mean that in a negative way, because we believers have a blessed assurance, Jesus Christ. And we are so one with Him that when He moves, we move. And so it was a unity of being, a oneness that He stood up, they stood up. And holy hands went up to praise the living God that stood, that moved them to stand, that lifted their hands in praise to the Creator of all things, because all things that exist in Him. And in and through Him, He created everything that is. Now, on this earth, there are three that testify of Him: the water, the Spirit, and the blood. Well, I want to talk about the water, because this great multitude of people, in Scripture, water has two or three understandings. One of the understandings is that water represents the great multitudes and nations of this earth. Now, when you understand that, it kind of goes along with what I'm trying to say here. It's so hard to put together a spiritual thing, because you know things that you can't hardly put into words, and you understand what can't be put into words, and I'm trying to put it into words. It's difficult. Let's see. This brings me to Jesus walking on water. I know a man that when you talk about the oneness we have with God, or you talk about the new creation, or the new birth, or the first resurrection to newness of life, he gets a little upset and starts thinking, oh, you think you're God? And I heard him say the other day, if you think you're God, let's see you walk on water. Well, this is a lack of understanding. This person uses the literal and the spiritual understanding to suit his understanding, to condemn other people, to make them think that they don't know anything. But I'm telling you the truth. In everything there is a spiritual and a literal understanding. What you need to understand is, well, let me go here. Jesus walked on the water, and Peter, by faith, got out and walked on the water. So this literal physical thing that happened, it gives us a spiritual understanding. Faith is a spirit thing, and it has power. Now, from the spiritual realm, it affects the physical realm. This is how Jesus was able to walk on the water. He knew the spirit realm. He knew the Father. He knew the authority and power that He had in accordance with God, and he could do things that people couldn't do in this physical realm that went against all the physics of the physical realm. Now, Peter walked for a while, and then he fell because he started looking at the waves and the wind and the circumstances of life. Now, when you understand that the water represents the nations and the multitudes, well, you kind of see the world. You kind of see that there's an understanding of the physical, natural realm that is the world, that is separated from the knowledge of spirit, spiritual stuff, God, Jesus. Okay, they live in a realm of, how would you say, separated from God and living by the strength of the right arm and the cunning of their own mind, and that's all they have and that's all they know. And it's at times a very beast-like existence. Okay, now Jesus walked above this because he understood. He was one with the Father. He was God manifest in flesh. He knew this. And this walking on water was to give us this understanding. It doesn't mean that we as believers who have received his Spirit can go walking on physical water. But yet, I walk on water all the time. What does this mean? That means that through this understanding that Christ gives you by the Spirit, you understand that you now live above the mindset of the world, because now you have unity with the Spirit. The Spirit dwells in you, giving you understanding. Now you walk above the circumstances of life, the circumstances of the world. You live higher than you used to. Now you understand that your words have power, your thoughts have power, and you actually can speak life to this world that doesn't understand. And this is what the Lord wants you to understand, who you are now. You're not who you used to be. You received the Spirit of God. He gives you wisdom and understanding, and you can live above, walk on water, above this world. And it's so funny because I see so many Christians that read the Bible and the book of Revelation, and they call it the news according to the Bible, but it's all about the world and the nations and what they're doing with the same mindset as the world has, separated from the knowledge of God. And then they see doom and gloom and the end of this and the end of that and death and destruction coming and God blinking us out of here in a rapture. They don't understand. No, he needs to rapture your understanding up here to where you're on the water, to where the circumstances of life don't move you anymore because you get the bigger picture and you see. It's like an eagle on the wings of an eagle. An eagle flies above the ground and it gets a bigger picture of everything going on. This is walking on water. You're looking down on it, and the things on the earth don't affect you up here. Now, it's so hard to put this into words. Oh my gosh. Everything has a literal physical understanding and a spiritual understanding. Please understand the spiritual, because the spiritual moves and affects the physical. In the Old Testament, the things that happened in the physical realm were there by cause, purpose, and reason by God to enlighten you to understand the spirit of what was going on there. Jesus did things in the physical realm to bring us to wisdom and knowledge and understanding of the spiritual aspects of things that were going on in the physical. Because from the physical from the spiritual manifests to the spirit, to the physical. Guys, this isn't coming out too good. It's so hard to put these things into words. It's all scriptural. It's all in the spirit. It's like opening blind eyes. Jesus did it in the physical. He was God. He could do that. Now, us as human beings, we're not God, but yet we have this understanding. And what we have to see is that people with physical sight can still be blind. And so we're called to open blind eyes, open their spiritual understanding. Now I guess if you're a Christian ophthalmologist or eye surgeon or neurosurgeon, you might be able to open their eyes spiritually and physically. That's awesome. But we understand that if you open their spiritual eyes, then there's a good possibility their physical eyes may be open too. It's like healing. Healing has to come first in the heart and the mind. Because from this thing called spirit, faith, spirit, heart and mind, it manifests into reality. And a person that is healed in their heart and mind, it can flow into the physical realm, and they can be whole and healed in the physical. Well, guys, I hope all this made sense. It's an awesome thing when you see it, man. There's great joy in this, knowing how God operates. It's funny, I see people say that God's in control, He's got it. And then I hear people argue, no, He's not in control, He gives us free will and choice. Well, it's both. It's both. God gives us free will and choice, but He is in control. That means that you can choose to believe Him or not. You can choose to have the life you have, but it will not go against God's bigger ultimate purpose, which is creation and love and kindness and peace, and His purpose for creating everything that is. It won't go against that, because if your will goes against this that He's doing, then it's going to be like fire, and you're going to suffer, and it's going to hurt, and it's going to bring you to your knees and break you to where you cry out for this spiritual truth. To understand the book of Revelation, you must understand that Jesus is the revelation. All these physical things happened. It's what He did on the cross to bring you to spiritual understanding. It's not the end of the physical world, but it was the end of the fallen nature of man and what they wanted and thought for this purpose of God. Well, guys, God bless you. Y'all take care.